harsh judgment on Harry was announced by Dr. John, Charles's deputy secretary, who never consulted King as a state councillor. According to a constitutional expert, King Charles is said to have expressed worry to Buckingham Palace on the choice to keep Prince Harry in one significant royal job. Even though he is no longer a working royal, the Duke of Sussex is nonetheless one of the King's state councillors. Despite evicting Harry from his UK residence, the monarch keeps him on as a councillor of state, indicating that Charles and his reign have entered uncharted territory. As a member of the King's Council of State, the Duke of Sussex is one of the few members of the royal family who has the authority to assume leadership in an emergency. Since having a UK domicile is a requirement for the royal, the role has grown more difficult. This is definitely new territory for us. The legal system does not readily permit the circumstances surrounding Prince Harry. Dr. Craig Prescott, an expert on constitutional law, explained to GB News the idea of the second son of the king choosing a life away from royal duties isn't something the law has thought about, and I can imagine that Buckingham Palace would be concerned by that. The king had the chance to remove him with the Councillor of State legislation last year, but chose not to. According to the Times, the king's decision had caused the dilemma within the palace walls. By law, those chosen as councillors of state are required to have a UK domicile, but while stepping down from royal duties in 2020, Harry has no home in the UK. Councillors of State are determined in law by the Regency Act. It's not a list that the monarch of their own volition creates. Therefore, to remove Harry can't be done by the king waking up one day and decree he be removed. It would require a legislative process. To amend the Regency Act itself to make him ineligible would require changes to the criteria for a COS and lengthy public debate about the process. One of the monarch's initial actions as a monarch is hiring Professor Dr. John Sabaraji, a deputy private secretary and specialist in constitutional law, was appointed to advise the king on the best course of action from a legal standpoint regarding matters such as councils of state. He has previously counselled individuals such as the Lord Chief Justice. Then, what was the answer? The king added Princess Anne and Prince Edward as lifetime councillors of state. Increasing the pool of available councillors of state ensures that Harry and Andrew will never be called upon. Recently, the king's representative who made this request to the government on his behalf confirmed His Majesty's position. The royal household have confirmed that in practice working members of the royal family will be called on to act as councillors of state, and diaries will be arranged to make this practical so Harry and Andrew will never be called upon. There are people who want the king to go full nuclear on Meghan and Harry, strip them of the titles, exclude Harry as a councillor of state, remove him from the succession, and that's not as easy as people think. For reasons Parliament set out, it smacks of taking excessive precautionary measures for something that might not happen, like pulling out all your teeth to avoid toothache, and apart from alienating Harry and Meghan and giving them more reason to complain, it might focus people's attention on the royal family, their role, and why they should continue. The king's simple, tasteful, and efficient solutions are provided. We also avoid Princess Henry, who would quickly become into Princess Lolo, and they may preserve the titles as a wedding present. The state pool council members have been diminished. Therefore, it is doubtful that 5 will succeed Harry, and there is also little chance that Harry will need to take any action. Instead, there are criticisms because the royal family is not acting in a way that might be interpreted as retaliatory.